What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to World of Warships, where today we're going to be taking a look at a viewer replay submitted by Archer6155, who we have featured on my channel before. And today he's taking the glorious Tier 8 American Battleship North Carolina into a game. So we're going to see how he gets on. Now, before we get into the action, another little update. I've been very quiet for a long time. I think my last video was like a month ago, and I do apologize about that. But it's been a slightly stressful month or so. House has been sold, and I've been trying to find a new place. So that's consumed a lot of my brain power at the moment, just like obsessing over all that stuff, hoping to get into the area that I want to, and that sort of thing. Thankfully, everything is now sorted. I signed the lease this weekend. I've got the keys, and I will be moving in, not next weekend, the following weekend, be moving into my new place. So that's all now done and dusted. I think, for the most part, my channel is probably going to be on hold until the move, but we'll see. There might be another video or so. We'll just have to see what happens. But the good news is, it is in the area that I wanted, and it does have the fiber that I wanted, so I will be getting a fiber connection. And on top of that, it looks like I might even get one faster than I had expected. I was hoping to get a 50 down and 50 up. Now it looks like I might be able to get a 100-100 for pretty much the same price. It's 100 Rand more, which equates to less than $10 more a month. So I think I'm definitely going to go and do that. And anyways, Archer has his first target, his enemy Nagato, at 21.1 kilometers, so he's going to turn slightly to starboard to get his back turret on target. And unfortunately, the Nagato has reacted, and all of those shells are going to miss. But yeah, so I'm really excited to actually have a proper internet connection. I mean, I know there's still people in the world that, you know, your internet connections are far faster than that, and it looks like we're going to have a little collision here. I imagine now he's going hard to port, but saw him too late, and the two North Carolinas are going to join together to make one super battleship. But yeah, I'm super excited. Cannot wait. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to upload a video in half an hour. Live streaming, I'll be able to do that. So like, just so excited. And you know, when there's updates to games, I'm not going to have to wait hours and hours to download it. You know, what's it? Current download speed is about 600 kilobytes a second. I'm going to be able to download it 10 to 12 megabytes a second, which is just going to be absolutely epic. I'm going to finally get to experience what the rest of the first world gets to enjoy. So that's just what's happening. Otherwise, yeah, just looking forward to a Christmas break and some time off from work. And what do we have here? It is a Miyoko at just under 11 kilometers reversing. And unfortunately, we're having to wait for the guns to reload. But now the front two turrets are reloaded and ready to fire. The rear turret is still swinging around, but it looks like he gave it a good amount of lead, and that's a Citadel and another 2 hits for 17,000 damage, and he finishes off the Miyoko and gets first blood, which is always nice. You don't really get first blood all that often in the battleship, but it's always awesome when it happens. But unfortunately, I don't know if he was just distracted and wasn't paying attention to where he was going, but he does run aground, so it's just time to throw it in reverse and back up off the rocks, and thankfully the ship is fine. It would be pretty terrible if World of Warships included damage to your ship from running aground and, you know, flooding and ripping open the hull, but thankfully it doesn't, so you can just back up. And we've got torpedo warning. Got a Nagato 13.7, going to fire off a full salvo, full broadside, and not sure what those torpedoes were aimed at, who they were aimed at, and that's a good solid hit, just under 20,000 damage. 5 penetrating hits, 2 overpens. I'm hoping I'm reading all those ribbons right. And now that looks like the Nagato is returning the favor, and unfortunately we are stationary, and it looks like he does manage to get a Citadel. It looks like that probably hit him in the magazine or the Citadel area for the rear turret. He's going to fire again, and we are starting to move forward, but I think he's just going to sort of stop here and just take... No, he's still accelerating. Just under 10,000 damage, so not a bad salvo again. That Nagato is really hurting. 17,195 hit points remaining. And, I mean, Archer's done pretty damn well so far. We're 5 minutes in, just under 50,000 damage. That's not too shabby at all. I got a Farragut at 11 and a Bayern at 13.2. I was actually playing some World of Warships myself today. It's currently Sunday. Was playing the Tier 4 German battleship, what's it called, the König or the Kaiser, whichever one. Actually had some pretty good fun in that. Managed to do 100k damage game. First time I've done that in a very long time. So hopefully I'm going to catch a bit of the World of Warships bug again, and there's another 12,000 damage, and I'll be playing myself, especially over the Christmas break. I'm going to have lots of time on my hands. So there is something capturing B. We can't see it, so we can only assume it is one of the 2 remaining destroyers on the enemy team, probably behind the island, and you can see on the minimap where it was last spotted. And someone on the enemy team gets a devastating strike. It was the North Carolina wiping out an allied Miyoko. So good shooting to him. And do we have a shot on the Bayern? We do. He's at 15.5 kilometers. Elevate the guns. And here come some torpedoes. Were they aimed at us? Are they aimed at anyone else? No, probably us. But there's going to be no issue avoiding those. Couple of hits, only 2,000 damage. Got a Bismarck in front of us. I'm really looking forward to getting the Bismarck because I do love my Tirpitz, and the Bismarck is obviously the same but a little bit different. Shots coming in from the North Carolina, enemy North Carolina, and they just bounce. We don't take any damage from that, and it is now our turn. And he's not presenting a very angled target. So firing off the front 2 guns, is he going to turn and try and get the rear turret in play? It does not look like it. And here we go to Belfast. And how do those shots do? They're still on their way. It looks like not quite enough lead. And they fall somewhere behind the enemy North Carolina. But now we've got the smoke in front of us. There is a destroyer hiding out behind this little island. So we do have to be careful. He could pop out on any side and rather ruin Archer's day with a spread of torpedoes. But Archer is keeping his bow pointed at the North Carolina because that is the threat he can see right now. And here comes the Fubuki, and shots coming in from the Belfast presumably. And is he going to fire torpedoes, or the Mahan is going to wipe him off the face of the earth? Hopefully, well, definitely before any torpedoes were in the water, otherwise the Mahan would have definitely spotted those by now. Turning to get guns onto target. Looks like it is the Bayern he's going to focus down because it is very low health, and it's always worthwhile to try and remove guns from the game. Just because he's on low health doesn't mean his guns don't work any better or worse than usual. They work exactly the same as usual, so you've got to get rid of those guns because he can still do some serious damage if you ignore him. North Carolina of Sashi Snow is heading in straight towards Rifter 82, and we're going to try and provide some support. Almost looks like Sashi Snow is going to consider a ram. Full salvo out on the North Carolina. High explosive coming in, very minor damage. Do we do anything? 7,000 damage, and we take out one of his turrets. And more high explosive. Thankfully, no fires, and it's just doing very, very slight damage right now. And there's some more, and there's the fire, 1,300 damage. And now these 2 guys are giving each other perfect broadsides. It looks like Sashi Snow did some good damage to the enemy North Carolina. Enemy North Carolina has returned the favor. And we don't have a very good shot, so he's going to take a stab at the turrets, see if he can knock those out again, and help out his allied battleship. And that is a pretty big hit that he just took. And more damage coming in from the high explosive. Secondary guns are getting involved now. Sashi Snow's got some good damage on the on Rifter 82. Who's going to win? And it's Rifter who gets the kill, but he's pretty much out of the match. Who's going to finish him off? It looks like it is going to be Lobster Mobster in the Kutuzov. So now we can start to angle ourselves properly. We got some armor piercing coming in. I guess that's the Belfast, perhaps? No, it's high explosive, sorry. Well, I don't know who that is. Could be the Belfast still. And got another North Carolina and Pensacola coming in from our starboard side. North Carolina is 11.7, Pensacola is 15.2. Just waiting to get the front turrets on target. He is turning left to right to just try and throw their aim off a little bit, but a big old battleship. It doesn't work too well. He's now on fire in 2 places. Still got 44 seconds until his damage control team can put the fire out. And look at that. In chat we've got Sun Yan asking the North Carolina, asking Archer if he wants smoke. Now, I imagine Archer didn't notice this because he's got quite a few other things on his plate. Looks like the enemy North Carolina is going to turn and flatten out. Does Archer have a citadel in his immediate future? Unfortunately not. But I mean, he's probably got so much on his plate he didn't notice the destroyer offering the protection of smoke. And the fires are about to go out by themselves. And there we go, fire is out. 15 seconds until we can heal up, recover some of that health. But very soon you will see the enemy, or the allied destroyer coming through and giving us a nice smoke screen. And you can see we're already not spotted, we've gotten into the smoke. And that is very nice of this Tashkent. Pensacola is still firing, I think that's a Pensacola. Last known position, and does manage to score a few hits. But now we've got the cover of smoke. And Archer is not too busy to say thank you, which is always good to see this kind of teamwork in a random battle. Just a few seconds until he can fire again, and it looks like the enemy North Carolina is turning to starboard. And firing off, was that high explosive it looked like? Indeed it was. 5,600 damage and 2 fires. Now he's switching back over to armor piercing. He had obviously switched to the high explosive because the North Carolina was bow onto him. And unless you get extremely lucky and get one of those weird unexpected citadels, you're not going to do a whole lot. I suppose you can go for the superstructure, but you're not going to do the big damage numbers. But anyway, North Carolina succumbs to Archer's fire, and he's just backing up at the moment. And got the Belfast, going to fire off a full salvo. Belfast is firing towards us. Is he going to hit? Don't know. But look at that, 2 citadels, gets devastating strike and finishes off the enemy Belfast. So now we got Pensacola at 10 kilometers. I love shooting at Pensacola's. I actually still need to play mine and finish off the grind and get to tier 8, but I don't like that ship. I mean, it's got great guns, but that thing's just a floating citadel. Is Archer about to prove my point? Shots going in, and there we go. Citadel. It's like, in some ways it's more difficult to hit that ship and not citadel it than it is to hit it and actually citadel it. So I don't particularly enjoy playing the Pensacola. Anyways, hard turn to starboard. Are we going to manage to avoid the island, or is Archer going to pull a Notza and run aground? But no, it looks like he is going to manage to make this turn. Shots out on the enemy Otago, 28,000 hit points remaining. How is the salvo going to do? 2,600, not the greatest, but I mean it is a difficult shot at that angle. I always find those ones the most difficult to lead, and even if you do hit, chances are it's going to bounce or do minimal damage. But then, everyone knows, occasionally, your armor-piercing shots will give 0 fucks and just citadel the crap out of them. So 7 kilometers, we do obviously have to worry about torpedoes at this range, but the Otago is busy with firing at someone else. Another 2,000 damage done. The Tashkent is being pretty brave here. That Bayern is still alive. You see, this is why, if you get a chance, take out a low health battleship, because I mean he's now actually managed to kill off the Kutuzov with the secondaries. So this is now going to be a bit of a close game. The Tashkent and Archer are trying to make a battleship destroyer hybrid. And the Otago, which way is he going to go? Which way is he going to go? It looks like he's coming around the corner. Bayern is now firing at Archer, but he misses. This Otago is going to be he's got to be very brave or very stupid to try this, because it's quite unlikely that he's going to get his torpedoes off before a North Carolina obliterates him at this range. Tashkent is working on eliminating cow, moose, duck, goose in the Bayern. Quite like that name. Shots out from Archer. Is he going to get the kill? He does indeed. Finishes him off. Gets Kraken unleashed. Kraken unleashed. The word launched popped into my mind as I heard the torpedo warnings go off. And it looks like who's going to get this one, because the Otago is slowing down. He expected the torpedoes. Archer is just waiting on the reload. Is he going to get them off in time? Doesn't look like it, because we should have spotted them already. But now we have the last remaining ship on the enemy team, Scud Monkey, in his Bismarck at 5.5 kilometers. This is not where you want to be against a Bismarck. The secondaries on this thing, if the enemy player has gone for a secondary build, which he may or may not have, the secondaries on these Bismarcks are just absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating. You just see this non-stop barrage of fire coming in. So shots going out, and 16,800 gets Confederate, so nice salvo there. But he is burning, and the fire just doesn't, the incoming fire just doesn't stop. Bismarck does 10,000 damage nearly with that salvo of armor piercing. And the Tashkent says ram him if you want, which is a good idea. Unfortunately, Bismarck is a faster ship than the North Carolina, and it looks like he's quite happy to just sort of sit around 4Ks. Shots going in, another 14,200, gets high caliber as well. Bismarck shots from the main battery are largely ineffective that time, only doing about 2,000 damage. And here comes some more torpedoes. And I think Archer actually has to take evasive action now, because he keeps sailing straight. He will probably run into the path of his friendly torpedoes, and Lobster Mobster is warning him, but I think no, he knows. He's already avoided them. Shots going in, 13,700 damage, but one of his turrets is taken out. And I mean, just listen to this barrage of fire that this North Carolina is having to deal with from the Bismarck. But I mean, he's done a great job. This Bismarck was on full health, had about 20,000 hit points more than he did when this engagement started, but it's now down to 17. And I mean, the fires are what's going to finish him off. I guess he's down to 1,100, 500. Can he get one last salvo off? He does. Not sure how much damage that last little salvo did, but I mean, that was just shy of 180,000 damage game. And so let's actually head off to the results. We don't need to stick around for the last minute of gameplay. And indeed, it was a victory. 281,000 credits for Archer 6155, just under 5,000 experience. He got First Blood, Devastating Strike, Kraken Unleashed, High Caliber, and Confederate. And I think I got all the ribbons right this time, all the medals. As I said, just shy of 180,000 damage with 68 target hits, 1 incapacitation, 6 kills, 2 fires, 4 Citadel hits. He defended A base 3 times, assisted in capture once. And despite being so close to the Bismarck at the end there, only got 8 secondary hits on target. So, yeah, first place on his team with a base XP of 2,483. Tashkent in second place with 2,200. And on the enemy team, Belfast with 1,200. And the Bismarck Scud Monkey with 950 base XP. As we said, 179,237 damage done, of which 168,309 was from his main battery. All of it from armor piercing, with the exception of that one high explosive salvo, which did 5,643. As for his secondaries, they fired 64 shots, only 8 managed to hit, and they did 2,376 damage, and then he did another 8,500 from fires. So that about covers it for this video. Archer 6155, thank you very much for sending it in, and I do hope you guys enjoyed. But that about covers it for this video. I updated you about my life and my internet situation, so very soon I won't be able to blame internet for a lack of videos. But anyways, as I said, that is it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.